everybody, and welcome to In the Doll World, a show spotlighting the passion and the people of the doll community. With your host, me, Georgette Taylor, former vice president and co-founder of Big Beautiful Dolls, and Tammy Fisher, owner of Curiosity Dolls and Collectibles. Join us as we talk to and feature fascinating new dolls and doll artists, from avid collectors to repainters, redesigners, bloggers, authors, filmmakers, and all the people in between as they share their journeys, give us glimpses into their processes and what propels their passion and drive that help to keep the doll world moving and shaking. Here are your hosts, Georgette and Tammy.
Hello, this is Tammy Fisher from In the Doll World, and today I am blessed with the ability to interview my co-host, Georgette Taylor. She is one of my favorite people, and I'm so excited to be able to speak to her and to introduce her to you. She is a wonderful, wonderful woman. So, Georgette, thank you for allowing me to speak with you today.
Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate it. We're on the other end of the spectrum today, being interviewed.
I'll try to do a good job, Georgette.
Oh, I think you'll do just fine, Tammy. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about you at all.
All right, then. Well, let's just jump in then. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start with dolls and your journey in this world of dolls. So how to begin?
So my journey into this doll world kind of began when I was younger, like most people who I think collect dolls or start out collecting dolls. I was a young girl, and my dad bought me a collection of 4 dolls. I think they were international dolls, and I remember them having their costumes from different countries and things like that. And so I had them for a little bit, but I had brothers, and so those dolls didn't last very long. My dad was not happy about that. So they wind up attacking those dolls. I mean, they wanted them to play with their little men and play with their little trucks, and it was just like, oh my God, it was terrible. So so I didn't have them very long, but when I had them, I just found them to be so beautiful, and that costumes were really, really gorgeous. And so after that happened, I did have one more doll, and it was I guess they call it like a walk with me doll. I guess I'm not sure of the name of the doll at this time, but you could hold her hand and she could take steps with you, and I really liked that doll. I think I traveled with her a lot of places when when we had to go visit my aunt, and all of those things. So those are the 2 things I remember about dolls. I know when I was about 11 or 12, I didn't really collect dolls. I didn't collect Barbies or anything like that, and my collection didn't really start until I was an adult, and I happened to find his name escapes me. Byron Lars. So I found some Byron Lars dolls, and I just thought they were just the most fascinating, just beautiful dolls. And so I wanted to start collecting them, and I did. I think I had about the first 2, and my friend came over. Let me back up. So I did also collect a Barbie doll, and she was, forgot what collection she was from, but she had all this red on. So it was a ruby something. I can't remember. And I remembered that I like to collect African-American dolls, obviously. I just wanted something that looked like me. So I collected African-American dolls. So I had one of her, the Barbie dolls in my curio cabinet with another doll that I had collected. And my friend Audrey had came over, and she saw the dolls, and I was talking about them, and she asked me how much did they cost, and I told her, and she was like, "You spent that much money on a doll?" And I was, "Well, yeah, I did. I thought they were beautiful." So she left, and she came back about 2 days later, and she was like, "Oh my gosh," she's like, "Gee," she goes, so she calls me G. She never calls me Georgette ever. She's like, "Gee, do they have any dolls like us?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Plus size dolls." And I was like, "I don't think so." So I kind of did what I could do with the limited amount of capabilities that we had back in 1999 when it came to the internet. So I can't believe it's been that long already. And I didn't see any, I didn't know about any, plus size dolls. And so she came to me and said, "Hey, I had this idea. which is not unheard of with Audrey. She has tons of ideas all the time. And she was like, hey, maybe we should make this doll. And I was like, that's awesome. Well, I don't know. I just want to be part of that. And she was like, sure. I mean, that's why I came to you. So from there, we just started, making this doll. I mean, it wasn't that easy, I could tell you. We had no clue what we were doing, like literally no clue. I collected dolls, but I never made one. And so I decided to go to Toys R Us and to shop around and look at some of the dolls and see who manufactured them, and then I could maybe get an idea of who we could reach out to, because at the time we really didn't want to reach out to Mattel because it was a bigger company, we know that they had the money to produce whatever they wanted, so we were like, well, we're not gonna do that right now. And so I found the doll from Integrity Toys, and most people who are listening, if they are in the doll world, they know about Integrity Toys, and run by boy, I'm telling you, I'm getting like brain cramps here. Uh help me, Tammy. Integrity Toys.
Is that
Uh
Percy?
Percy, thank you. Percy Newsom. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm so sorry, Percy. So he was really, really nice. I found the number on his on the box, and well, I found the name of the company, and I looked that up, and he was in Maryland, and so we lived in New Jersey. So we called him, and took several times for us to connect with him. We told him a little about what we wanted to do, but wanted to know we could spend some time with him, talking about, the process. And he was so generous, and he invited us down, and he manufactured, and he also had a warehouse there in Maryland. So it was a family-owned business. And we went down there and we stayed down there for like 5 or 6 hours just talking to him about what we wanted to do, our vision. And he was so helpful. I mean, he gave us the name of a sculptor who actually sculpted some things for Star Wars. And she had gone through some personal loss in her family, so she wasn't doing sculpting anymore. But he said maybe she would, do something for us. And so we went to after we finished talking to him, we had a sculptor, we had a manufacturer, and we also understood like some of the process that we had to go through. So he was just a wealth of information, and without him, honestly, I don't know, it would have been much, much harder for us to get started. So I credit him so much, for helping us, just giving us that, not even just that extra thing that we needed, but also faith that we can do it, so that was really helpful. And from there, we just came back home, and we just put boots to the ground. I mean, we spent a lot of time in New York asking for investors, a lot of time, talking to people, a lot of time creating what the face is going to look like, and all of that. And so that's pretty much how I started. That was my first major entrepreneurial um, uh, into having a company of my own. I mean, I was a worker, 9 to 5er for a long time, and when I got introduced to that business and that creativity, it just allowed me to just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And so that's how the Big Beautiful Dolls was born. I mean, it was funny because I remember we had those dolls on a website that we had built. um, it's so funny, I think about it. We had that doll on the website for like almost a year trying to get sales for that doll. It was incredible. And we had so many people who had purchased, pre-ordered. I mean, you can't do that now. Like you can't pre-order a year from now, right? And people not give you a product, right? So we had, it was just, that goes to show you how long ago that was. And we had it on there, and it was, some people we had to give back money to because, we couldn't get the product. It was
Yeah.
just, we had to raise enough capital to order a large amount of dolls. And so, but there was just some people that just stayed with us, and God bless them. We appreciated them so much. They stayed with us, and we would always, email them back and forth and say, hey, this is where we're at, hey, this is where we're at. And some people said, no, we really want this doll because nobody has seen a doll like that. And so that's how I started with Big Beautiful Dolls. It's been a journey. They they are like my muse now. They just encourage me, and they give me courage when I have to step into some other space, like a podcast or or other things that I do, because I realized I had courage to step out and do these dolls. Nothing was created before that. And we created something from an idea to a physical form, which was just so so it was just so great. You know, it's like birthing a baby. It was just so amazing, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that
so it was
sounds really
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Good. That's a cool story.
Thank you.
And of course, that's what brought us together.
Yes.
So I'd like to know, because you have a lot of fans for
Mm,
the Big Beautiful Dolls. They even have their
yes.
own Facebook page.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, what's your plan for the future with those dolls
Hmm.
or any other dolls?
Ugh, I've always wanted to have a doll that was more articulated. That was my vision, for me doing another doll. But at this point, I don't really know. Honestly, I really don't know what I'm going to do. They call to me all the time, and they talk to me all the time, and um, financially, it still is really a big commitment to get those dolls done. We still have the manufacturer though, and so it's not that it can't be done, but I know financially, I probably would have to do like a GoFundMe or something like that, and I just don't know if I'm ready to step in and do that yet. But to just go back to my our Facebook page, our Facebook page really was created by somebody else. It definitely wasn't me. It wasn't me or Audrey. And one of our beautiful uh, people who collected our dolls. I met with him downtown in Dallas, and he asked me if we had a Facebook page, and I was like, no, we don't. And he literally started it for us. And so, that community was started by somebody who really just loved our Deja dolls and friends, Dina and Dawn. And so I'm just really grateful for that because it keeps me up to date too on what people are doing, and it's fun to see how they dress them, and the people who create these dioramas for them and, put them in all these types of storylines. And it's just so beautiful. I love that. I just love that fact. And like I said, I didn't even think about starting one, it's just the fact some beautiful, person stood up and said, hey, I wanted to create one. And it's created a really nice page. We have like 122 members there on Deja and Friends. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the love for them. I continue literally every day to get questions about if I have any dolls left. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I do know that I will create something. I just don't know what it is yet. I just don't know. I have no clue yet. But I don't have any available, unfortunately, right now. But I'm always looking for ways to at least be able to get a few samples here and there. I had some naked ones, honestly, that sold out like crazy because people were redressing them and finding ways to showcase them. But even me getting them nude now is so expensive for me to get one doll, that's nude, that it would just be way expensive for the person who wants to collect it, and so I just really haven't gone that route yet again. So we'll see.
Okay. One of the things that I really like about the Big Beautiful Dolls is that they're Barbie size, that as far
Hmm.
as the height.
Right. Hmm.
And when you're talking about the dioramas, that made me think about how they are Barbie's height. Why did you choose that form factor? Why are they Barbie in size and not like 16, 18 inches?
Well, I chose that because we had tossed up about, should we get bigger dolls? Should we get smaller dolls? Well, there was two factors. One, we really thought that we could kind of transition those dolls to play dolls. You know what I
Hmm.
mean, for younger kids. But the more we looked at it, the more we realized that probably wasn't going to be the case because of the amount of money it was costing us. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And also, if you try to go into retail, you need such a huge quantity to get your price point down so low in order to make sure that the person who's trying to purchase it is not spending $80 for a play doll. So that was one of the reasons we initially was going to keep her 12 inches. The other reason was that we wanted to, when it was a comparison, of Barbie and or any 12-inch doll, fashion doll, whether it be Jean. I don't know if Jean's 12 inches. No, she's not, right? She's a
Yeah,
little
Jean's
bit smaller.
larger.
She's larger. But I
Uh-huh.
guess for us, when we wanted them to compare size, height, and then body type, you would definitely see the difference. If you had a doll who was 14, 16, 18 inches tall, people would assume that she was not as plus size. That was my thinking back in the day, right? So I wanted people to see for sure that at the same size that Barbie was, her body type was much bigger. So you could see that, right off the bat. You didn't have to guess, oh, is she bigger than Barbie? Or she, I mean, is she plus size because she's 18 inches? So, she may not be that full figured. So that's why we kept it 12 inches.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I
That's
said,
cool.
that was my thinking back in the day of me not knowing what I was doing.
Well, you apparently did something right. You have lots of people who love those dolls, and like you said, you have people making requests asking for her daily.
All the time, like all the
Yeah.
time. Like they show up for me all the time in my life, and yeah, they show up for me all the time. Like when I think I'm finished with them, it's like, yeah, you're not finished with us. So I know that they're there for a reason. And for me, I think for me, I take the reason as it being something to empower women with. So I realized that through my whole journey, whether it was the dolls or whether it was me being a romance consultant, trying to empower women about their own sensuality and things like that, even to what I do today, empowering people with words so they can feel good about who they are, that for me, it became, I guess, less for me making money and more about me wanting to have a doll that represented people that weren't represented in the fashion doll world. And even till this day, it's still a struggle, to have dolls that represent plus size women without it being a bunch of negative backlash about, why should we promote women being plus size or all the other things that go with that conversation. So for me, it becomes more of an empowerment kind of journey. Like I just want people to feel good. I can't remember. I think our tagline was like, um, to love who you are, no matter what size you are, no matter what you weigh, or something like that. But it was really about saying just to love yourself where you're at. It has nothing to do with you not wanting to lose weight, or has nothing to do with you not wanting to be healthier. And if you wanted to do that, that's great. But you still have to start someplace. And so you have to start loving yourself where you're at. And that was so important for me. So I think the journey became a lot bigger, for me, in the sense of just wanting to make money, you know.
So now we have, thank you. We have your journey continuing. You started off with, as a kid and the dolls and the BJD doll, I mean the big BBD dolls, and now you're doing this doll show. So how
Right.
does this doll show connect to your doll journey?
Well, I think like you said, even in your own interview, it was just a matter of the people that I met along the way. The people that I met along the way on this journey. I met so many fascinating people. And I remember, I think I went to a fashion doll makeover convention and I was just shocked. I mean, they had made over I think they had made over Dawn, and Dawn was like one of the centerpieces in this convention because everybody would have a table, and each table would represent a different doll that they made over. And they made Dawn over to this beautiful angel doll. I mean, she was just gorgeous. And I got a chance to see these people that were so talented. I didn't know anything about rerouting hair, like I didn't know anything about like face painting and how you can just strip the makeup off and make them a whole different person, the dolls and the design and the outfit. I just met so many different people doing so many different things. I just wanted to be able to share that, with people who were not in the doll community, just to see what goes into creating a doll. It's just not like, hey, I want to create a doll. Let's put a doll together. I mean, so many different layers, you know what I mean, to that doll. Um,
Yeah.
and it was just fascinating. It was just fascinating for me. I got to see people grow through that process too. I met other doll makers, doll creators, all the different mediums of dolls as far as resin dolls and, porcelain dolls and then, oh my gosh, and then when articulation came out, it was just like a craze friends. I mean, it was just like, I mean, it was just, it was just so interesting for me, and I just wanted to be able to share that with so many people and not have them think, oh, it's just a doll, like people create these things and they spend time on these things and they spend money on these things and and they have a passion for it. And I just wanted to create a show that showcased that, that was really important to me. So, you know, um, it was funny. I remember when I first started out, I had met Jason Wu for the first time when he first started out with Integrity Toys. And I just look at his progression, right? He was an amazing doll creator. Oh my gosh, I just loved like all of his little accessories. I mean, everything was just so on point, And then he winds up, creating the dress for, you know, former First Lady Michelle Obama,
Mm-hmm.
on the inauguration. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know that guy. Like, I remember him. I mean, I have a picture with him. He was just a little thing. Like, he was just a young kid that, that Percy had, saw talent in him, and said, hey, I want to help you create this line of dolls that he has, and then he just goes on to just like, just catapult himself into being a huge designer, you know what I mean, and all of these things. And so I think that there's just so many opportunities for people to also be part of that market as well. And I don't think people understand that they can be part of that market. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If they are designers or creators or whatever. I mean, I just think it's a fascinating, I just think it's a fascinating world myself. I just think it's really fascinating. So, I mean, I love fashion dolls too. I love baby dolls, but I really love fashion dolls because I think it gets to be really intricate in how people present the things that they want to show, and I just think it's really cool. I just think it's a really cool industry, and I just wanted people to have access to it and to see the other people on the other side of it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. As you know, my preference for collecting right now is also
Mhm.
fashion dolls.
Mhm.
And I like the larger, the 14, 16, 18. I
Mhm.
like the larger fashion dolls. And the reason that I prefer them is it's just easier to see the detail. I mean, there's some
Right.
beautiful 12-inch fashion dolls and some
Mhm.
high-end 12-inch fashion dolls. But for me, the larger dolls just are more to my liking. I like to
Right.
see the details on them because you can see them better.
Right. Right. I understand that. I
Yeah.
totally understand that because I think Byron Lawrence had large dolls. He didn't have 12 inches, right? I thought he had like a 16 inches or
The Barbies,
no, the Byron Lawrence. Yeah, his dolls from Mattel. Are they 12 inches?
I think they're 12. I think
I
Byron's
can't
dolls are
remember.
12. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're the typical Barbie mold.
Right, which is
You know,
12.
that
Yeah.
that
But
12. Yeah.
yeah, he has some great details on his stuff too. Even
Now
as,
he
like you said, even as the 12-inch dolls, and I think that's probably what excited me because you could just see the details and the brilliant creativity. You know what I mean with this stuff, and so it was really cool.
Yeah, there are some very detailed 12-inch dolls. I just
Hmm.
prefer the larger ones because I think that it's easier to see the
Right,
detail. And
right,
their faces are larger. It's easier to
right,
see the face painting. It just seems like just the canvas is larger. So with a larger canvas, you can do more work.
right. Of course, yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah. But I do love fashion dolls. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't bought one in a while because I realized, whoo, I,
I know.
I need to I need to try to cut back, but yeah, there's some out there I probably would buy. But yeah, right now, only thing in my cabinet is my three big beautiful dolls. That's all that's in my curio cabinet right now. So just
That's
I
cool.
just leave them out.
Got the ladies there to talk to you.
Yes, yes, they talk to me all the time. So funny. Yes, they do.
Well, can you think of something that I might have missed?
No, that's pretty much my journey. I mean, maybe I know when we were talking with you, you shared how we connected and you know how you became the co-host. And so um yeah, I could share a little bit of that too. I really when I decided to do the doll in the doll world, for me, I realized that I had not been in that space in so long. And so I would have to go back and look at all the people and, I do always have 12 other things happening. So, two or three other businesses going on. And so I really, I had to decide, did I really want to spend that much time, honestly, you know what I mean, on my end to go back and learn everything that I needed to learn to really give, to really showcase a really good show. And I realized that that it would be better for me is if I had somebody who could kind of fill in that gap for me, and we bring two different aspects of, the doll world together. And so I thought about it and I reached out to you once, and you didn't really think that you were ready for that, and I understand that. I think you were just getting into owning your own doll store and collecting, yourself on a bigger scale. And so I waited around a little bit and I kind of put the in the doll world on the shelf. And I had a logo for a long time. And it kept coming back to me like, I really need to do this show because people really need to know about this community. And then, of course, I saw more podcasts coming up and all different unique podcasts that they have out there. And I was like, this would be a really cool show. And so I tapped into you again and asked you if you wanted to be the co-host. And, I think I mentioned how brilliant I thought you were to be a co-host. And if I didn't, I will tell you now how brilliant I thought you were to be a co-host. And so, I,
Thank
and
you,
I think
ma'am.
you're welcome. And I think you felt a little bit more confident, and you realized that you did know a lot of things. You did know a lot of people. You had, you know, broadened um, your own knowledge, of that business and of that world. By owning that store, you know what I mean, and buying collectibles and seeing who was out there. And so you said yes. And I just thought it was the greatest thing because I could bring my expertise and mainly it's doll making, but things have changed, and I tried to keep up with a lot of things that have changed in manufacturing and information like that. But I can always share my story and talk to other people who are going through the same struggles about creating a doll. And so I have that aspect. And then you have the aspect on the other side of people who are past that level now, who are now trying to market their dolls, who are trying to showcase their dolls. And we could talk about that with them. So yeah, so I just thought it was a great combination. And I'm just excited about, moving forward in the doll world. I know it's taken some time and, we've been back and forth, but life happens. And I'm just glad that we still have a vision for this journey and a vision for this show. And, I just want people to enjoy the conversations that we have with people and enjoy the opportunity to, peek a little bit into the doll world community and see what's going on out there. And at the same time, hopefully have some of those people who are making dolls get some dolls sold, like, hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, because it's
showcase their stuff, so
yeah,
I'm
yeah, because
excited.
we're running into some great. I mean, I'm so excited about some of the stories. The new doll makers has got Nav Deep in Britain and Joseph in
Hmm.
Australia and Matey in South Africa. And we got all these people all around the world who are
Right.
making dolls, and I'm really excited to talk to them and to talk to them about their
Their
journeys
journeys.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and how expensive it has been, and just the
Yes.
details. I like the
Right.
interview we had with Joseph. It was just
Hmm.
when we were getting the Gabby doll, when we were doing the
Hmm.
petition, a lot of people would say, why are you trying to get somebody else to do this doll? Why don't you make it yourself?
Right.
And so I'm really looking forward to having people like Joseph and C and
Hmm.
Navdeep and Matey and Bakani, people who are making those dolls come and say, hey, this is not,
Right.
$1,000 kind of thing
Right.
here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, Joseph is like, I put my house up on the, I took out
Right.
a loan against my house. So these people need to understand that we're talking about tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars when we're
Yeah.
talking about people making new dolls. So um, yeah, they need to. It is not some fly by night. It's not something that people are putting some serious dollars into them.
Right, exactly.
So yeah,
And it's interesting for me because I come from, let's be real, 20 years ago.
yeah,
We made our dolls in 1999, and for me to listen to, or in 2000, so for me to listen to people's journeys now, I get to see how different they are, but yet I get to see how similar they are.
yeah,
Still after all of this time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That is still so expensive. And yes, we have 3D printing and all that, but that 3D printing also comes with its own thing. You still have to have, if you're doing 3D printing on a huger scale, you still have to have some kind of mold, some kind of master, you know what I mean, that's going to pump these dolls out on a regular basis. And you also, if you are do 3D printing, then sometimes the prices still may be high. So the cost to you as a consumer, you know what I mean, is still going to be high. So I mean, it's a lot of things that go into making a doll. It's not just, oh, I just want to make a doll. And I think and you're right, I think it's a good opportunity for people to see if that's something that they want to do, and we're not saying because it's expensive, you shouldn't do it. We're just saying, understand that, it's a process that goes along with everything that you do when you come to making a doll, from the eye color to the hair, the hair texture. And it's so funny because when we were talking to Joseph, he mentioned some kind of hair that you can only get in China, like you could only get this hair there. Like they have
hmm
like this thing locked down there, and how that would be different from using a different type of hair. I mean, all of those little things and all those little components go into making a doll, and they all cost. You know what I mean? So I think it is interesting to see the journeys of the people who are still passionate about creating and manufacturing dolls, and what they have to go through to produce a doll that we're going to buy. So, um, and like I said, and it's not even just the specific, I want to make a doll person. It's about the other people, out there who collect dolls, who have vast collections of dolls. I mean, I had an opportunity to have Deja, represented in one of the collections that Debbie Garrett had, that was actually in the museum in Dallas, which it was so awesome to me.
yeah, that's really cool.
It was so great. I mean, and it was so funny because I had moved from Dallas, and I happened to be I went back for a visit, and on my way out, it just so happens that the collection was in the Perot Museum, and it was only in there for a short amount of time. And I think I must have caught the last 2 days of it before I had to head back out of town. But I had made it my point that I was going to go see Deja. You know what I'm saying, in the museum.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why would I not go do that? And it was just so awesome. It was just so awesome. So people, who collect dolls and have a love for them, you get to see their journey. I mean, look at Sandra. She has a huge thing at the Detroit Dolls Show. I mean, like, so
yeah,
it's and it's I mean, I got opportunity to go there and showcase a doll that I had created, which was another doll I was thinking about doing for a long period of time, because I knew that it was important to show her body type. So what I did was I went online. I wanted to do something that had to do with body painting, and I found a wonderful woman online. Her name was Georgette as well, which was so funny. And she body painted this beautiful lingerie on the doll, and I showcased it at the Detroit Doll show a couple of years ago, and it was the same time when Sandra had presented me with an award there, for the work that we did with Big Beautiful Dolls. And so, I've had like really great opportunities and great meetings with wonderful people, and I just wanted to be able to have a show that highlighted those people.
yeah,
Highlighted their work and their creativity, and so that's why I'm just so excited to get this show started.
definitely. I am too. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Well, I think we are at the end. And again, I want to thank you for taking out time to talk to me and to share your journey with our listeners. And I'm looking forward to more interviews and introducing the world to some of our wonderful doll friends. And
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, thank you so much, Tammy, for having me, and for us talking to each other so people could find out a little bit more about who we are. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, hon. All right.
All right.
We'll be
Bye-bye.
talking soon. Okay.
Definitely.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to In the Doll World. Me and Tammy really hope that you enjoyed the show. Please don't forget to share our podcast with other doll enthusiasts such as yourself. And if you would like to leave a message on how you enjoyed the show, or you want to suggest any guests that we should interview, as well as share information about what's happening in the doll community in your area, please know that you can reach out to us at georgette.inthedollworld@gmail.com and or tammy.inthedollworld@gmail.com. Also, if you want to see some of the photos we will be posting of our guests as well as the dolls that they talk about on the show, please visit www.inthedollworld.com. And until next week, add a little play into your life by collecting a doll, sharing a doll, or giving a doll a home. Until next week, thank you again for listening to In the Doll World.